For this video, you need your Lesson 7 notes and your calculator. We are going to be practicing finding missing sides or angles of a right triangle using trig ratios or the Pythagorean theorem. When you did this in geometry, we're just going to refresh over it. So you'll see on your paper a couple of triangles like this, and if you remember, the angles are labeled using uppercase letters. So I'm going to put the uppercase letters here on my angles. And then the lowercase letters are for the sides, and the lowercase letters always are across from the uppercase letters that are the same. So angle A across from side angle B across from side B, etc. So one thing you'll notice very frequently, especially on SAT and ACT type questions, to see if you actually know what you're doing or if you just memorized a squared plus b squared equals c squared with no understanding, they'll move them around. So instead of letting C be the hypotenuse, which is kind of what you're used to, they'll move it like this, so that in this particular triangle, you can see that B is the hypotenuse. So if I were to use the Pythagorean theorem here, it would be a squared plus c squared equals b squared. It's always leg squared plus leg squared equals hypotenuse squared, and so you have to think about it that way instead of using the letters always in that same order. Always leg squared plus leg squared equals hypotenuse squared. Okay, so we can find the trig ratio, any of the trig ratios for either of these angles. So let's look at theta. For our angle theta, if we want sine, well, sine is opposite over hypotenuse, A over C, and we can do that with any of them. So let's do F down here, secant of theta. Secant, you remember from the other video, is the reciprocal of cosine. So for our angle theta, secant is going to be hypotenuse over adjacent. Okay, for time's sake, I'm not going to do the other ones, but you could do any of those for either of the angles that we have. The important thing to know is that the ratio that you have is dependent upon the angle. So tangent of theta is not going to be the same as tangent of phi. They're going to be opposite, or they're going to be different from one another because you're basing it on the opposite and adjacent of that particular angle. Okay, pause your video here and write these steps down. And it's very important to notice that your graphing calculator must be in degree mode to get the right answer. So pause the video and write that. All right, to change your calculator into degree mode, the mode button, you remember, is right next to the second button over on the left-hand side, the blue second button. And then the fourth thing down has you selecting radians or degrees. So the default mode of your calculator is radians. Once you get beyond geometry, you very, very rarely use degrees anymore. You usually do most mathematics in radians. That's why the default mode is radians. So when I clear your calculator for the test, you're going to have to remember to turn degrees on. So just like you're going to have to go through and turn diagnostics on, you're going to have to turn degrees on as well before you begin the test. Okay, let's look at these. We're going to use our trig ratios to find the missing side. So here I have this side that's missing. It is across from the 67-degree angle, so it's opposite, and the one that I have here is adjacent. So I think to myself, okay, what trig ratio uses opposite and also adjacent? Well, that's tangent. I could use cotangent also if I wanted to, but the cotangent button is not built into the calculator, and tangent is, so it's easier to use tangent. All right, the angle that we're finding the tangent of here is 67, and I know that tangent is opposite over adjacent. Now I want to get that x by itself, so I'll multiply by 8 on both sides. And then I can just type that directly in my calculator as long as I have the calculator in degrees. Rounding to 3 sig figs, I'm going to get 18.8, and then my units are going to be centimeters. So that side x, 18.8 centimeters. All right, let's look at the one in the middle here. So I have my 36-degree angle. It is opposite x, and the other side that I have here is the hypotenuse. So the trig ratio that uses opposite and hypotenuse is sine. Again, I could use cosecant if I wanted to. It's just that cosecant is not built in. So multiplying both sides by 8.8, And then I have my calculator in degrees, so I'll just type that directly. Rounding to 3 sig figs on this one, I get 5.17 meters. All right, last one. Let's look at this one. So I've got my 50-degree angle here. I have opposite and adjacent. So I'm going to use tangent. So tangent of 50 is opposite. Oops. Opposite over adjacent. Okay, so this one's different. This time I have x in the denominator. So I'm going to multiply by x on both sides. Always multiply by the number in the denominator to clear the fraction. And then I'm going to have to divide by tangent of 50. All right, let's type that in the calculator. Rounding this one to 3 sig figs, I get 6.38, and the units on that are meters. Okay, so let's see what happens when I'm trying to find degrees. So in this case, I'm looking for theta, and what I have here is the opposite and the hypotenuse. Opposite and hypotenuse is sine. Opposite over hypotenuse. Okay, so I can't like divide by sine or anything like that because sine goes with that angle. So I'm going to have to do the opposite of sine. So if you look on your calculator, written in blue right above sine is sine to the -1 power, sine inverse. So if I take the inverse sine of both sides, sine and sine inverse will cancel out, and I'm going to have that. So basically, to get rid of the sine, I'm going to do the inverse sine. So anytime you're looking for a side, you use the trig function just as it is. Anytime you're looking for an angle, you're going to need to use the inverse of that trig function. Okay, let's type that in our calculator. And I'm going to get to 3 sig figs, 76.1 degrees. So my units here are going to be degrees. Don't forget to put the units on that. Okay, so let's look at this theta. So for this theta, I have the adjacent and the hypotenuse. So that's going to be cosine. Cosine theta equals adjacent over hypotenuse. All right, I'm going to do the inverse cosine of both sides. I can simplify that 2 over 4 to be 1/2 if I want to, but since I'm going to type it in my calculator, there's not really a reason. Were you surprised to get something off the unit circle? Okay, maybe you recognize that one, that the angle that has a cosine of 2 over 4 is 1/2. Okay, to save time, I'm going to skip that last one because the process is the same as what you do on the other ones. All right, let's move to these. So I'm looking at isosceles triangles. Isosceles, remember, means at least 2 sides are the same. And if you recall from geometry, if you put an altitude inside of an isosceles triangle, it cuts the base in half. So if I drop an altitude right here, and an altitude meets at a right angle, it's going to cut that base in half. So I'm going to have 5 centimeters on both sides. So now I have an angle, 67 degrees. I have the side adjacent to that angle as being 5, and I'm looking for the hypotenuse. So the trig function that uses adjacent and hypotenuse is cosine. So cosine of 67 equals adjacent over hypotenuse. All right, and this is one that has the variable in the denominator, so I'm going to need to multiply by that denominator on both sides, and then divide both sides by cosine. So I'll type that in my calculator. And 3 sig figs, 12.8 centimeters. Okay, so this next one is similar. I'm going to drop the altitude. Ooh, that's a terrible looking perpendicular. Pretend it looks nice. Which means I'm going to cut that 5.2 in half to put half on each side. 2.6, 2.6. And what I'm looking for is that whole angle theta. But notice that when I put this as a right triangle, I can only find half of that. So I'm sorry, that's an alpha, not a theta. That's an alpha. So I'm going to call this part that I'm finding right there theta. And I can see that to my angle theta, I have the opposite side and I have the hypotenuse. So that's going to be sine. Sine of theta equals opposite over hypotenuse. All right, and this is like what we just did where we have to use that inverse sine, also called arc sine, if you see that written anywhere. Arc sine and inverse sine are the same thing. So I'm going to type this one in my calculator. All right, and I got 18.255, whatever. Now remember, that's only half of the whole angle alpha that I want. So to find alpha, I'm going to multiply that by 2, and then I'll round to 3 sig figs, 36.5 degrees. All right, and that's going to be the final answer there for my alpha. Okay, right triangles are also found in many special quadrilaterals. So for example, if I have a rectangle, I can cut that rectangle into 2 pieces using the diagonal, and I'll have 2 right triangles. All right, if I have a rhombus, so I have a parallelogram, I got my parallelogram there, and I can cut the diagonals. Remember, the diagonals of a parallelogram are perpendicular to one another, so that gives me 4 right triangles. Here I have a kite. Same kind of thing with a kite. I'm going to have my 4 right triangles right there. And over here I have a trapezoid. So for a trapezoid, the bases are parallel to one another. So if I drop a perpendicular right here, I'm going to get a right triangle here, a right triangle here, and then a rectangle in the center, which I could put a diagonal in that rectangle and have some more right triangles if I needed to. But that's something to be watchful for in any of these word problems, to make sure that you can find a right triangle so that you can use your trig ratios. Okay, so for this one, I have a rhombus. A rhombus has diagonals of length 12 and 7. So if you remember, a rhombus is a figure that has 4 sides the same. So I'm going to draw that. Okay, to the best of my not very artistic ability, there's a rhombus. And then I'm going to draw the diagonals of that rhombus. So I'll just draw those a different color. Normally I would want them to be dotted, but since we're running out of time on the video, I'm just going to draw them a different color. So I have this one, and I have that one. All right, and it says that the longer one is going to be 12. Oops. And the shorter one is going to be 7. All right, and I remember from the drawing that I had before, you guys can see here I've got my right angles, and also see that the diagonals bisect each other. So that means that this part, the whole thing is 12, so that part is 6. And if this whole thing is 7, this part is 3.5, and my right angle is here. I'm trying to find the larger angle of the rhombus, which is this one. Okay, but just like before, I can only see half of it here. So I'm going to call this half theta. All right, and now let's see what we can do. For my angle theta, I have the opposite and I have the adjacent, so that's going to be tangent. Tangent of theta equals opposite over adjacent. So I'm going to use inverse tangent. Right, and that's going to give me the angle theta that I have there. So let me type that in my calculator. All right, so my angle theta is going to be 59.743, whatever. And then to find that whole angle, the larger angle, I'm going to multiply that by 2. And so the angle that I want, 119.487, whatever. And if I round that to 3 sig figs, 119 degrees. Okay, so your task now is to complete your lesson 7 homework.